Hey, how are you guys doing today? I hope that everyone is doing very well and that they're having a really great day so far. This week I thought we could talk a little bit about learning how to compromise. As we continue to kind of go through changes that have been taking place in our lives and different things that have been happening, compromise is something that I think is a very important skill that everyone always needs to know, as well as everyone always needs to continue to work on and grow. Learning to compromise with somebody else is challenging. There's no right or wrong way to do it, and with each person that you are trying to compromise with, there's some things that it's not always the same for everyone. So compromising is something that we always need to kind of continue to work on. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So let's start off with, first of all, what exactly is compromising? What does that mean? Compromising is a skill that we have where we can use this skill in many different situations. It's a very effective skill. It's a very workable skill that we can always use that helps us to get out of a situation what we want. So in the meaning of compromise, that means that each person that's in this situation gives up a little bit of what they want in order to reach an agreement. When we come together and reach this agreement, however, we compromise and we each give up a little bit of what we want to come to an agreement that we're both happy with, that we're both satisfied with. So if I am feeling that I want a certain meal for supper and my friend wants something else for supper, well, we're going to compromise. I might change a little bit of what I might be hungry for and what I want while they make those changes too. They think, well, maybe I can have this idea next week and we can try this or this tonight. But when we end up with our agreement, or when we come to our conclusion at the end of our situation, both of us have made a change in what we want, but we're both going to come out happy. We're both going to be satisfied in the agreement that we've come to together. When we work on making a compromise and compromising with other people, we have to understand that we must be flexible. So maybe the first thing that we offer as a change or offer to somebody that we would like to compromise on, they might not like that idea. Or what they offer to you, you might not like that. And that's okay. But we have to learn to be flexible to be able to reach that compromise solution together, and where both people, both parties, or whoever is in that situation are very happy and both satisfied and have both reached the goal that they were at, or what they were trying to accomplish to begin with. When we think about those things, we have to understand that compromising is a very important tool for us to have because it helps us get along better with other people. It's a tool that we will use for the rest of our life, and it could help us with any kind of frustrating situations. Maybe there's different situations that we've been in that could have been less frustrating or less upsetting if we had used that tool that's in our back pocket and compromise with the other person that we're with. If you think about compromising, you compromise with people in your family. You compromise in different social situations, different social settings, Any place that we go, to the grocery store, to the post office, to the library, we compromise on different situations, or through different situations there too. We compromise when we're in conflict, when we are upset about something or arguing with another person. We can compromise with our friends. We can compromise at work, with our coworkers, with our boss. And honestly, we can even compromise with ourselves. Maybe we had a goal that we had really wanted to work for, and we just maybe weren't hitting it or something. We can make that compromise with ourselves to maybe change it up or give us a little bit more time to reach that goal. So compromise is something that we do see throughout our life and in many, many, many different situations. One of the biggest keys to compromise is, like I said, to be flexible, but also to be able to have a willingness to compromise. I can say, You know, if I want to have macaroni and cheese for supper and my friend wants to have pizza for supper, you know, maybe I say, well, I'm willing to compromise. Well, we'll have macaroni and cheese tonight and you can have pizza tomorrow. Okay, well, the willingness to compromise means that we're going to really consider the wishes of somebody else. Keeping in mind what I want, but also keeping in mind what the other people want. So making sure that we are really keeping our thoughts open and willing to make a change to what we want to be able to help out another person and to make sure that somebody else might not be feeling upset and that we're both feeling happy and satisfied with our conclusion or our agreement that we've come up with. So we say that we're willing to compromise, but then how do we do that? How do we really compromise with another person? So I have a few steps, very simple steps that we can use to learn how to compromise with somebody else. The first one is that each person that we are, so if there's two people that are trying to compromise, each person should state what he or she wants to achieve or accomplish. So if we're still talking about how I want macaroni and cheese and my friend wants pizza, I could say, I would like macaroni and cheese for supper. And my friend would say, I want pizza for supper. So now, the second step is all people involved should discuss possible alternatives. Okay, so maybe one alternative is we could have one of those meals tonight, and another one of those meals another day. Or maybe if I want macaroni and cheese and she wants pizza, maybe we could have macaroni and cheese pizza. Maybe a compromise is we could make them both. Maybe they have a small pizza and macaroni and cheese, and we could each have a little bit of both. Maybe we could talk about how we won't have either one tonight, but we will have something else and have our macaroni and cheese another night and our pizza another night. It just depends on what kind of alternatives you can come up with. What other ideas that you could both have to take into account the wishes of both people. The next step is discuss what each person is willing to give up to reach that agreement. So if I'm saying, I will say this could happen and I will give my ideas and then my friend will give her ideas. And as we are doing that, you know, that's saying, I will do this in order for us both to be happy. I will eat my macaroni and cheese at this point just for both of us to be happy. We can work that out and talk about those things as different alternatives or different ideas of what we want to do to solve this situation. And then the last step is determine what's going to happen. Determine that solution. So now we've come up with all of these ideas. Which one of these solutions is going to be the best for us, where we will both be happy and satisfied with our decision? So what I have for you today is I have a few examples. I have 4 different examples that I'd like to kind of share with you. I will kind of go through the example, and then you can pause the video after each question, and you can talk about it with people that are with you, talk about it with yourself or with a friend, and then when we get together and meet for different things throughout the rest of the week, we can kind of talk about what some of your answers were to some of these questions. The first question that I have as an example is, Jenny and Jeremy were both wanting to watch a different show on television. Jenny says, I want to watch my favorite show that starts at 5 o'clock. Jeremy states, I want to watch my favorite show that starts at 6 o'clock. So what are some possible solutions? And how can Jenny and Jeremy work out a compromise that both of them will be satisfied and happy? You can pause the video and talk about that if you would like. Our next example, Kit and Stan decide to go to the movies. Kit wants to see an action movie, while Stan prefers to watch comedies. There is only one staff person available to take them, so they must go to the same movie. So what are some possible solutions? How could they each give something up in order to reach an agreement? Okay, you can pause the video here and talk about that one as well. My next example, George and John want to go out to do an activity together. George wants to see a movie and John wants to go out to eat. What are some possible solutions? What could George and John do so that the solution could work for them both? You can pause the video here and talk about that as well. And our last example, Sally and Kara are roommates. Their apartment needs to be cleaned as the dishes haven't been done in a week, and someone has now tracked mud all over the carpets. The girls need to each pick a chore and complete it. Kara hates to vacuum, while Sally dislikes doing the dishes or vacuuming. What are some possible solutions? What could Sally and Kara both do to be able to have this solution work out for both of them? You can pause here and find out that solution. All right, willing to compromise is some skills, or is a skill that's very difficult for sometimes, for some situations, because we want to make sure that we do come out with the best solution. There's always different ways to compromise without giving up what you want or what your end result is in that situation. So I hope you really think about what some of these examples were and really talk about some different ideas or alternatives to how they could really solve that situation. Having a few ideas as to how you could solve a situation or problem solve that situation can really help place that tension and that maybe anxiety and some of those frustrations out of the situation. It can give you an easier and a calmer way to be able to solve different problems that kind of come up when we're all willing to compromise. So in conclusion, why is compromising really important? Well, each person that is involved in the situation gives up a little part of what they want. And as we each give up a little part of what we want, we can help to avoid conflict, and we can get things accomplished, and we can make sure that everybody is feeling satisfied and happy. We can make a little change, have a little bit of compromise, and a lot of things can still be solved and problem solved together. I hope you'll have a great rest of your week. I will talk to you all soon, and have a great day. Bye.